Hello everybody, welcome to George Crafts. Thank you very much for joining us again for our art journaling session. This week we're going to look at colouring techniques. So we're going to have a look at a few different ways that we can make a flat image look like it's got dimension and shape just by using colouring. So what I've done, I've got solvent based ink pad and I've stamped a pair of Wellington boots 6 times. If you don't have any stamps or if you want to draw, you can draw. You don't have to use stamps, but I've done stamps because then I can have the same picture each time. So what we'll do is we'll use coloured pencils on this side and we'll use markers on this side. And the important thing to remember is to think about where the light is coming from. So before you start colouring, take a pen and just mark the direction that the light is coming from on each of your drawings or your stamps. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just flat colour. So once we've done and finished colouring all of our images, you should be able to see the difference between the top image and the bottom image. So by starting off doing it in flat colouring, you'll see the difference in the techniques. You don't have to use the same colours as I am, by the way, you can use any colours you want. Okay, so that's in pencil, in flat colour. Now we'll do the same in markers. So this is just a water-based marker. And again, we're just doing flat colour. So that's number one. Flat colour. There's not a lot of dimension there, only from what the drawing has given us. So the boot that's behind is slightly higher up and the front boot's overlapping it. So now what we're going to do is experiment by having 2 colours. So this is going to take a little bit longer to colour in because I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful. If there's anything you'd like to see in the art journaling series, or even anything at all you'd like to see on the blog, please get in touch and let us know, either in the comments under this video or find us on social media. We're on Facebook and our tag is at George Crafts Blog, all one word. We're on Instagram and that's at George_crafts, and you'll also find us on Twitter and Pinterest. And if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give us a like and subscribe to our channel for post notification updates, and that will let you know anytime we release a new video. So we've got green Wellington boots and we're going to add pink polka dots. So you can see it's adding a little bit of texture but not a lot of dimension, so it still will look quite flat by the time I've finished. And we'll do the same with our marker pens in the image here in just a moment. So just finish off at the top with some pink trim and the bottom with some pink soles. Okay. And then we'll do the same in marker pen. So, let's move it out of the way. Just colouring in green first and then adding the spots afterwards. So I've had quite a few people getting in touch with me from our crochet videos and from our reviews, which has been great. So thank you very much to everybody who's been engaging with that. That's brilliant. And as I say, if you do have any questions, or there's anything you'd like me to feature or do a tutorial on, or there's anything you want me to talk about in our art journaling, please do get in touch and tell me, because it makes my day to know that you guys actually are watching and care enough to write to me. As you can see, it's taking a little longer to colour in in two tones, because I'm trying to be really careful and not go out of the lines. So now that we've added coloured detail, you can see there's a little bit more texture to these boots. So what we're going to do now is to focus on the shading. So we're going to colour again in two colours, these Wellingtons. And we're going to add our spots and stripes again. Except now we're going to add a little bit more dimension with shading. So with coloured pencils, all you need to do is just sort of layer up your colouring. So the light's coming from this direction, which means the light's going to hit the back of the boot and there'll be shadow in front of it, and there will also be shadow between the two boots. So just use your pencil to put more layers of colour alongside the boot. And on the front of the boot, which will be in shadow. And then we're just going to make these spots a little darker, and the back band of the boot a little darker, and the back sole of the boot a little darker. And then I'll just add in a ground line, and I don't have a sort of grey coloured pencil here with me, so I'm just going to use drawing pencil. And add a little bit of a shadow. Okay. So hopefully you can see the difference between the three drawings on the camera. We'll do the same one in marker pen as well, because I use a slightly different technique there. So start off colouring the same base colours. Again, this may take a little while, just because I've got to do it neatly. Really, I suppose I shouldn't have picked something with spots on. So that's one. And colour the second boot in. Okay. Now the thing with markers is sometimes they can kind of be a little bit transparent, so you can't always sort of layer up the same shade on your colouring when you're using markers as you do with pencil. So I've got a slightly darker tone of green here, and I'm just going to put a shadow on the front of the boot. Oh, I haven't done my spots, so I'll have to do that in a second. Let's colour those spots in. And the top trim and the soles of the shoes. Okay. And then I'm going to add a darker shadow sort of between the boots. and then we're going to do a little bit of shadow into the spots just by making them a little darker. And make the trim a little darker. And the underneath of the heel. And we'll make these spots a little darker. And then we'll add in a ground line again. And finally just add a little bit of shadow. And again, because the light is coming from here, hitting the back of the boot, and the boot casts the shadow in front. So the trick to getting your shading in the right places is to think about the direction where the light is. If you struggle, you can always use a pencil to draw the arrow in, and then when you've finished, rub that out. Okay, I hope that was really useful and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to, you can annotate what you've done, so just put flat colour, two-tone, and then two-tone with shading and shadow, and that will help you to remember what you did. Otherwise, yeah, make sure you subscribe to our channel, send me any questions that you've got, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.